that's what we are going to be sewing today. Okay, so the first part of the bag handle sewing is going to come. Let me just bend this phone down, camera down, so you can see what I'm doing. So to sew this bag handle, remember I did this panel when I showed you guys how to sew a zipper panel to a sturdy tote bag. So we'll be sewing two type of bag handles today. So if there's any other one you want me to sew, any pattern, please, you can send that to my community, what is it called, you can send it to my WhatsApp page, which I'm going to leave on the description box. Okay, good morning and welcome to my channel. So to sew this particular bag handle, remember we did this when I made this. That's when I actually sewed the zipper panel. I've taught you how to sew zipper panel. So the very first bag handle we are going to be sewing, I've measured out the pattern. The measurement of this particular main panel is what is going to be carrying this bag handle. So you can use your own measurement if you want. This is like a large size tote bag. So this measures about 13.5 inches in width, and the length measures about 11.5 inches. I don't know if you can see it. To sew this particular bag handle on it, this one is going to come, there's a bag handle that will just come like this. Okay, it will come like, let me just show you what I'm going to do. So it's going to come like this. It's going to come like this. Laura, give me some pegs. It's going to come like this. In this particular bag handle, I'm just going to stitch from here to this place. Then this other one will be folded. I don't know if you must have seen something like this. Then this is the very first one. We are doing two bag handles today. Two bag handles. So this one is going to be folded. It's going to be folded. So just patiently wait for everything to be done so you understand what I'm going to be doing today. So I've made a mark here. So this is just to describe what you are going to be expecting on this live stream today. Though I'm still going to be sewing. You must have seen something like this. Okay, you must have seen something like this. All right, I don't know if you can see it. So it's just going to come like this. So this one too is going to come like this. So then the hand is going to come. So it's going to be something like this. When you sew, you're going to sew this one down. This one is going to come down. This one is coming down like this. All right. So it's just something similar to this. That's what we are doing. So this measurement, you can make your own smaller, guys. The measurement of this one is a bit bigger because I want the handle to be long. By the time we finish sewing. So let me just quickly give you the measurement of this on how I actually put them together, because as you can see, I actually added a kind of stabilizer and I added the thick leather to it. This blue leather that will be using. So I added 1 inch to it. The total width of this is 2 inches. So I added this and got me to the middle because I want it to be a bit thick. Total width is 2 inches, and the entire width of this, what's the entire width of this again? Okay, the entire width of this is 19 inches. Let me measure it to confirm the measurement. Entire width is going to be, okay, sorry for that. So entire width is 36 inches. Can you see it? 36 inches by 2 inches. Entire length is 36 inches and width is 2 inches. Okay, and actually from this point to this point, from this point to this point, I added leather. If you are sewing another type of leather, you can add leather to stabilize it all through. This is just to make it thick, because if I decide to fold it like this, you can see it's kind of not thick. So you can add leather. You can also add 2 layers of leathers. So by the time I fold it like this, can you see how thick it is? So I added leather to make it thick. Okay, I added 1 inch. Instead of taking 2 inch, I added 1 inch and I placed it at the center. Okay, so I'm going to explain why I'm putting line here, why I'm putting gum here later in the video. Just make sure you follow it. There are some things that you might skip if you don't follow up this video. So just make sure you are here as we do all of this together. So to do this, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure 2 inches. Let the camera so you can see. Sorry. So I'm going to measure out 2 inches from the edge of this place. And if we are sewing this bag, I'm going to be raising this lining up because we will not want to sew on our lining. Okay, so you raise it up because you are going to just sew on the stabilizer. And before you kind of add more stiffness to the bag, make sure you sew your handle first so that your machine will be able to handle it. So on this edge, from each of the edges, I will measure 2 inches down. Here to here is going to be 2 inches. Here to here is going to be 2 inches. I'll measure 2 inches from this point to this point. Then from the up, I'm going to measure another 2 inches. So watch and see how I'm going to do that. If you are not seeing, let me know in the comment section. Okay, so I'm just going to measure out 2 inches from each of the edges. I've already measured it out. Okay, sorry, 2.5 inches in this case. 2.5 inches. Okay, depending on the width of your bag. If the width is small, you can take 2 inches, but this width is a bit big. All right, so I'm just going to take 2.5 inches all together. Then I'm going to connect it with a ruler. I've done the measurement so that our live stream will be fast. So I just did some certain things prior to me getting on live. So from the top, I'm going to take 2 inches too. From the top, I'm taking 2 inches or 2.5 inches, depending on where you want to place your handle. So let's take 2 inches from the top. I'll just mark that 2 inches. I'll mark it down. So I'll turn this other one too. I'm going to take 2 inches, just the same thing I did in the first one. 2.5 inches. Sorry, keep on saying 2 inches. It's not 2 inches, it's 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. I'll take it from the edge, from here to here. It's going to be 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. Okay, I'll just take that. Then I will take 2 inches from the top. 2 inches from the top. All right, so I'll take my ruler. I'm going to mark it down. I'm going to mark it down. I've seen it. So I'll just rule it to connect the mark. Remember, it will take 2 inches, 2.5 inches. I don't know why I keep saying 2 inches, 2.5 inches. Here to here is 2.5 inches. Here to here is 2.5 inches. But from the top to this point is 2 inches. So this is the handle we are going to be sewing. And so before I sew it to it, guys, like this, I'm just going to sew from this point. I'm going to sew from this point. I've marked it out. I'm going to be sewing from this point to this point. Okay, so the distance between this and this is about 16 inches. Okay, so this part is going to be folded. This part is going to be folded. Okay, so once it's folded, I will clip it together. Then I will sew from this marked point down to this other marked point. All right, then this other part is not going to be sewn. It's just going to come around it like this. It's going to come around it like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this particular one, I'm just going to sew from this point a very rectangular shape stitch. I'll just sew it to this point that I've marked. Okay, so first of all, we are going to sew now. So we are going to sew. So I'm sewing from, you can see 2 chalk mark. Okay, when sewing a triangular stitch, you add it here, but when sewing this and this together, if I want to combine these two, I'm going to start from here. So the distance between this point and this point is 1 inch. Is it 1 inch now? Please let me confirm. I actually marked them out before. Okay, the distance between this point and this point is 2 inches. So I'm just going to fold this and clip them. So I will sew. Then you're going to see how it's going to come out. It's a very fine handle. So this part will be sewn and this part will be left like this. So I will sew a kind of rectangular stitch on it. So let me quickly clip it in place. Take note of the measurement. Take note of the measurement I'm giving to you guys, or Probably if you don't understand the measurement, I'm going to leave the measurement in the description box later, but just watch the process of making this bag handle. So I'm just going to clip them. Remember, I'm starting from this place, this mark here. I've done 2 marks here, so just watch and see what I'm doing, guys. So I'm just going to clip them. Don't forget, guys, I added leather here to stabilize it, because if I don't add leather, it's going to be very simple, it won't be professional. So I added leather, just 1 layer of leather. You can add 2 layers, you can add 3 layers, depending on what you want. And when you're adding leather, since the width of this is 2 inch, make sure the leather you are adding, the width is 1 inch. Reason being that you wouldn't want your machine to go through any issue when you are sewing, because if it's too thick and you are using a kind of home domestic machine like mine, it will be able to sew through it. So I decided to take 1 inch in width and lay it at the center. So that's what I did, because so this part I'm going to be sewing is where the leather is. I'm not sewing this part I'm not sewing it. So is this part that I'm going to be folding that I want to be thick, so you don't have to put leather all around it or all on every part of it. So just this part that I'm going to be folding, that's where the leather is. So I'm just going to clip it in place, because I'm starting the sewing from here. I'll clip it in place. So guys, one other thing I want to bring out, this part will be exposed. By the time I do it, you understand what I'm saying right now. So you can line it with suede. I actually lined this part, so I'll use this one to explain later. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to clip it. I'll just clip it in place, the part I'm going to sew. So by the time I clip it, I'm going to sew this part that I'm clipping right now. So I'm going to clip up to this point. Okay, I'm going to clip up to this point. Just watch and see the process. Just watch and see the process. I'm going to be leaving the measurements. This is not like we are not making any bag yet. This is just to show you the process of making bag handle. Okay, so you don't have to know the measurements, you just to know the process. So as I said, I'm sewing from this point to this point. So I'm just going to sew it now. I'm going to sew it. So watch how I'm going to sew it. Laura, give me machine oil. Okay. So guys, so I'm just adding a bit of machine oil to it. So I will sew from, I've already marked out the points that I want to sew. So trying to get the mark. So the mark is here. There's a mark here, so I'm going to start from there. So make sure you mark out when you are doing yours, so that you get an accurate result. So I will sew. I'll first of all back stitch first, then I'll sew. So one other thing I want to say, I don't know if you must have seen some handles that are kind of, they are puffing, they bulge out. So those kind of handle has some things inside, something like rope inside. So if you want me to do such kind of handle, please let me know in the comment section. I'm kind of sweating very much here. There's no light, so I'm sweating very much. So I'll just show you the process now. So I'm just going to sew. So in sewing, remember it's going easily because the stabilizer we added did not get to the edge. So make sure your own don't get to the edge if you are using a simple machine, so that you don't go through any challenge when doing yours. So I'll just sew. I'm making sure everything is aligned. Just make sure everything is aligned. Don't hold it out for me, please. Put it there. So I'm just putting a bit of oil. It won't get your clothes stay, don't worry. Because do you know, remember we stabilize this thing with leather. So putting oil on it will make it sew easily. Like it will make the needle to sew through it easily. So I will stop at this mark. There's a mark there. At that mark, I'm just going to backstitch. Alright. Then I will remove it. And I will cut off this thread. Just cut. If you have a firelight, you can burn. So this part, you can see this part is lined. So I didn't line this one because this is the part I want to use to explain. We are still sewing the bag handle. So you take this one. You are going to take this. You're going to take this. Remember the measurement, guys. This place to this place is 2.5 inches. Here to here is, well, I mean, this place to this place is 2.5 inches. While here to here is 2 inches. Don't forget. So I'm going to take my handle. Very interesting handle. I'm going to, let me move this guys. So I'm going to take the handle. I'll start from this point. Okay, I'll place it here like this. I'll clip it. All right. So I'll raise the lining. This lining, they don't sew on your lining. Raise it up. Okay, I'll raise it up. Then I'll follow this mark so that I can get a very straight project work. And I'm going to sew a kind of box shape on this. I will edit here. Can you see a chalk mark here? I've marked the chalk. I've marked it out. So I will sew a box shape on this. So because the handle is going to be going like this. I don't know if you have seen some handle like this before. It's going to be a very fine work. Let me sew it first so you can see it. Okay, because it's still falling off. But it's going to be a very fine one. So I've marked out where I'm going to stop sewing this handle. So when doing yours, make sure you mark, figure everything out. Because it's not a real bag, this is just a sample. That's why I didn't give the actual measurement for this. Okay, but if you want me to give a measurement for your kind of bag, I will do that. So I'm starting, where's that chalk? So I'm going to start from this point that I've marked. I'm trying to get a chalk. Okay, I've marked out a point, so I'm going to start from this point. Then I will sew from here, from this place to this, a kind of triangular, is it triangular now? Rectangular shape. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Make sure you mark your own O out so you get a perfect work. All right, so I'll just start sewing. So no, I don't want to seen it. So this is the mark here. I don't know if you can see a mark here. So sorry if you are not seeing it. So I'll back stitch. So I'll make sure I'm following that line. I have a mark. Okay, I didn't actually follow the line, so I'm just going to lose because probably I was talking too much. I didn't follow. This is a line. This is a mark here, so it went beyond the line. So make sure you follow the line, please, or else your work will not be perfect. So anything you are doing, it's because I'm on camera, so I'm bound to be making mistakes. So I'll just place it on that line. I don't know if you can see the line. So on that line, please don't mind this hose I already put here. So since we are not going to be using the bag, it's not bad, but make sure if you are anything you are doing, just take pains to do it to get a perfect work. So I'm going to place it on that line. You can put gum to hold it in place, just a tiny bit of gum. Then I'll clip it at the down. I'll clip it, then I'll raise the lining up. Make sure your lining is raised out of the way. You wouldn't want to sew your lining. Okay, that will not make it professional because the stitches will be seen outside, which I wouldn't advise you to do. So I'll just sew, ensuring that this edge, the foot edge, matching foot, is at the edge of the handle itself. So I'll just sew on it. Back stitch. There's a point I've marked out. Okay, so just make sure you follow that point and make sure you are following that line. So make sure I follow the line. Just make sure I follow the line that I drew out. Okay, following the line. Okay, then I will turn. It's going to be a kind of rectangular shape. I'm sure you understand what I'm doing now. You must have seen an handle that go like this before. Can you see? Can you see the way it's coming? So we are sewing two types of handles today, so don't go anywhere. Just make sure you stay put, because if you don't stay, there are things that you might be missing out. So just stay put for the explanation. So I'll sew. Oh my god. Okay, got caught here. Okay, maybe the thread is finished. Just quickly check. Okay, so I'm sure you guys are following what I'm saying though. sure you follow what I'm saying. Please, if there's any question, please let's make this live interactive. So I'm trying my best to explain, mainly for beginners. So I'll backstitch again. At that point I did not sew. I just sew on that same stitch. So make sure don't sew on your lining, please. Don't sew on your lining. I'll turn. So if you are still learning how to sew, if you are not good at sewing, excuse me, I advise you to just use your hand. So don't be fast. Don't be fast. Don't be fast. My aim here is just to show you the process. Okay. So I'll put a bit of oil. So in sewing, make sure your machine foot is always at the edge so that you get a straight stitch that is equal. So that mark, can you see there's a mark here that I made previously? So I'm just going to turn there. I'll turn. So I saw a kind of stitch there. I'll make sure I follow that mark to get a straight work. You're not back stitching. Okay. Then I'll just edit here the place we started. Then you can back stitch if you want. But if you want a very neat work, I'll advise you to pass the thread to the back and tie. That will give you a better neat work, to make your work neater rather. So I'll take my scissors. I just quickly just cut it out. I don't know, I'm coming. I'll show you how it's going. Okay. And one other thing I always advise: always burn your work. Always burn the stitches rather. I know your work, right? Did I just say always burn your work? Always burn the stitches. Okay. So I see the way it's going. I don't know if you can see it. All right. I see. Let me just clip this in place so you get what we are doing. We are doing 2 bags anyway. We are doing 2 bags. I have to cut this. We didn't cut this out. For the edge, you don't have to kind of fold here because you are still going to sew. By the time you are sewing your bag, you are going to put a button that is going to cover this up. So when you are folding, you don't have to waste your time folding the edge. But even if you fold, it doesn't really matter. It does not matter. It's not going to alter your work. All right. So I'm going to get something similar to this. Okay. I'll just quickly sew the other parts, and I'll just apple to the thread. But I can't fix the thread. To fix the thread, so I'll just quickly sew the other parts. Sorry. So once we fix the other parts, we are going to go to the second method. I mean, sewing the second handle. So this is the first method of sewing handle, and this one is going to be different from the other one. So the other one we are going to be sewing, that's why you shouldn't go away. It's just going to be this type of handle. So you have to stay to watch it to the end. So I'm just going to clip in place. Clip. So there's a mark here that I'm going to follow. Remember that mark that we drew, which is 2.5 inches. So make sure you follow it to get a straight work. As I said, you can also apply gum. You can apply gum if you want it to stay. Yeah, you can apply gum. I would have done that. It's going to be better because when you apply gum, there are 2 things that it's going to give you. It's going to make this one to lay flat. As you can see, this one is not, it's bulging out. So I will advise you to apply a bit of gum. Can I get that gum? So I'll apply it to get a bit of gum and apply. So you apply gum. Let's apply gum, please, because we are aiming at getting a very professional work. So whatever we do, let's do it well. Okay, I'll just bend it. I'll apply a bit of gum. Is there a brush there? Oh, sorry, the gum is a bit too much. So I'll just clean this off. So you let it dry for a while. When you apply the gum, let it dry. The gum I apply is a bit too much. So I'll just let it, thank you. Let it dry. So when you apply gum, don't apply gum to the edge, because when you are sewing, it might stick to your machine. I start having issue. So you let it dry. That's, I'm just going to do mine. Let's not waste time here. So I'll follow that line. I don't know if you can see the line. There's a line there. You follow it and you can clip in place. Okay, so I'm just going to sew it together now. I'm going to sew it. Now in sewing, I'm going to sew a rectangular stitch that is going to come like this, and following a mark. We have a mark here, come like this. So you make sure you have your own mark there. Let me mark it again to emphasize it. All right, so let's sew now. Laura, the matching iron, please. Okay, so make sure you follow the line. You can see it's looking finer now when I apply the gum, like it's laying flat. This one is kind of budging out, so the gum will just make it so slip. Yes, that is the importance of applying gum. It makes it slip. So you make sure you apply gum on your own. It makes it slip, and at the same time it just makes it stay in one place. So make sure you follow that line. There's a line there that I drew. So make sure you follow the line. So, and there's a mark here. That mark I drew too. So it depends on what you want. But if you want me to give you measurements of this, I will do that. It depends on what you want, the place you want to place your mark and handle. So I will turn and just sew on that mark. Okay, I'm trying to put a bit of oil all the time. I'm trying to put a bit of oil. I'm doing this because of the kind of material we are using. You just have to use some tricks and tip so that everything just goes smoothly. If I was to be using industrial machine, I wouldn't mind some certain things this much. So I will make sure I sew on that line. Then we are almost through with this one. We're almost through. Then when I finish, I'm going to show you the result, so don't go away. Thanks for watching, ma. I can see you. Thanks for watching. So I'll just sew down. I'm going to sew down. Keep on putting oil. So when I get done, I'll just back stitch. Okay, back stitch. Back stitch. So we are done with this pattern. Can you go wrap that one for me? Okay, don't worry. Let me explain to them first. Here's the pattern itself. Okay, nice. Let the pattern. Okay, let me show you the results. So this is what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see the bag. Can you see how fine it is? So this is how to sew the handle. So for you that will be here, sis, I'm sure you must have gained something. Thank you for patiently waiting. God bless you, ma'am. But this is how to sew the handle. You can see it's a bit strong. If you want to be stronger than this, you can lay about 3 layers of leather on it to be thick. And there's another thing you can do. They say something that looks like a rope. I'll show you guys next time I'm doing live. So you can just put it will bulge out. It will make it to bulge out. Okay, so this is it. It's so cute. So next we are going to do, guys, is to sew this type of handle. Okay, we are going to be sewing this type of handle, which is quite different from this one. I don't know, can you see this one? So this one, I just put this one. Can you see? So this is quite different from this one. So to sew this handle, can I get the pattern? We are going to need we are going to do just one side. You are needing 4 rings anyway, but I'm just going to use 2 D rings since we are doing this and this. And this handle, the D ring, there are different D ring sizes, but there's the one for 1.5 inches, there's the one for 1 2/4 inches, but this particular one measures 1 inch. 1 inch. Can I get that tape? Thank you, God bless you. So this one measures 1 inch. Okay, this measure 1 inch. So by the time we are folding this handle, we are going to make sure that the width, this width, is 1 inch. The width from here to here is going to be 1 inch, so it can go through the D ring. Okay, even though we are going to be cutting 2 inches, we are going to fold it in a way that it becomes 1 inch, so it can go through the D ring that is 1 inch. So I already cut out the template. I already cut out the template. This is the template of it. Okay, this is the template of this, and this measure 19 inches by 2 inches. 2 inches, because by the time we fold it, it becomes 1 inch. We're going to be folding like this, become 1 inch. So let me confirm the measurement so you can see. This 19 inches. 19 inches. If you want it to be very a bit long, you can take 21. The range is always between 21 and 19. For this particular one, I took 18. Anyway, it's short. It's short because you're going to have a strap. I decided to make it short depending on what you want. Marian Frank, thank you. Very nice one. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. I see your comments all the time. I love you. Thanks. So this 19 inches, Miss Deborah, if you are here, thank you. I'm always going to be giving you shout outs. Thank you for your encouragement too. Guys, do not mind me. I'm sweating. At the same time, I don't want to waste your time. I'm talking fast. So if I'm rambling, don't mind me. Just make sure you get what I'm saying. So this 19 inches, okay? And the width is going to be 2 inches. Remember I said we are going to be folding into 2. Beginner friendly live stream. Invite beginners to my live stream, please, so they can learn as well. So this 2 inch, when I fold it becomes 1 inch, right? As for this one, it's going to go through the D-ring like this. Guys, these are very necessary. Make sure you don't go away at this point. These are very necessary tips and tricks that you should know. So it's going to go through it like this. I'm going to be explaining how I got this shape. So I need to go like this. Okay, can you see the shape? And you can see it's similar to this. Can you see it's similar to this? So this is how we are going to be getting it. So this is how it's going to go, right? This is how we're going to go. So once I've explained this and we've gummed it, I'm going to explain how to get this other shape too. All right, that's why you shouldn't go away. Okay, don't even think about it. So to get this shape, let me just bend the camera down. This is the second handle we are doing, right? So what I did to get this shape is, remember, we want this one to be 1 inch. This long one that is out, we want it to be 1 inch. Okay, so to get this shape, what you do, you take the length of this one, it's 1 inch too. So you're going to take the middle of this mark. You're going to get the middle of this first. So since it's 2 inch, the middle of it, you just get a biro. You get a biro and get out the middle. All right, you get out the middle. So I'm going to take from this place, because the shape is going to come, the way the shape comes, it's going to come like something like this. Like it's going to be triangular. I don't know, just watch me anyway. Just watch me. So once I've gotten the middle, I'm going to draw something up. I'm going to draw like 1 inch up. You can make it 1.5 inch. All right, you make it 1.5 inch. Okay, let's take 1.5 inches from this side. From this place to this place, let's make it 1.5 inches. All right, once you take 1.5 inches, because what I want this part, the part that is going to be remaining, to be 1 inch, so it can go through this D-ring. This D-ring is 1 inch. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, guys. See the way this thing is. When you measure this to this, is 1 inch. Okay, because the reason we made it 1 inch, we want it to go through this D-ring, because if we leave it at 2 inch, this entire 2 inch can't go through the D-ring. So we have to shaping it out in a way that it can go through this D-ring. So that's what we are going to do. So we are going to get D-ring that is, we are going to get this. They just brought the light. We are going to get this measurement to be 1 inch. So to get that measurement, we place this one. We get middle mark first, okay? Then I'm going to place my 1 inch mark. Can you see? The entire length is 2 inch. So you place your 1 inch mark here, okay? Then you get from here to here, you take half here. That is what I'm doing. You take half out. From this place to this place, you take half out. If you take half out from here to here and take half out, if you measure here to here, it's going to give you 1 inch. Am I making sense, ma'am? Am I making sense at all? So what I'm saying, let me state this again. Let me repeat this. The entire width of this is 2 inch, and that 2 inch cannot go through this D-ring. This D-ring width is just 1 inch. So we need 1 inch width to go through this D-ring. So what I did, I marked out a mark on the middle of these 2 inches, which is this. It's at the middle, which is this. Then I now place my D-ring I'm place my tape, which is 1 inch already on that mark. I want to bring out 1 inch. Okay, so I place the tape rule, which is 1 inch, on that middle mark like this. I place it there. I place this 1 inch mark on the middle mark. Then I actually take from here to here. I took ½ inch. From here to here I took ½ inch, right? From the 1 inch to this place I took ½ inch, and from here to here I removed the 1 inch. So that you mark this 1 inch to this 1 inch. When you mark here to here, can you see it's already 1? Here to here is giving 1, because we want something that can go through this D-ring. We want something that can go through this D-ring. Okay, and so once you finger it like that, it's going to become like this. So I want to get a shape like this. So I will just draw 1 inch up from this point. So I'm going to draw 1 inch up like this. Okay, then I will draw something like another ½ inch like this, because the shape is going to come like this. You cannot do it whatever in any way you want. You can draw it as, once you've gotten your 1 inch, you can trim it in whatever way you want, as long as it's going to go through this D-ring. So I've gotten the 1 inch, so I drew 1 inch up from here to there. Yeah, I drew 1 inch up. Then I'm just going to connect this one to this point. Okay, to this point. This point to this point is 2 inches. I want it to end here. So I'll connect this point to this point like this. I'm just connecting it so that we'll be able to get that 1 inch. Can you see? I just want us to get that 1 inch. All right. So you do the same thing here. And just from this point that I drew, I will kind of measure 1 inch up. I'll measure 1 inch up. I know it's a bit difficult to understand, but if you follow this method I'm using, you will get it. So here to here is going to be half. Here to here, you just connect it. You can connect once you've got. So here to here is sorry if I'm rambling. I'm trying my best to explain it. So once you've got your 1 inch, you take here to be 1 inch. Okay, and I want to connect this point. I want to connect a point like this. I want to connect it to this point like this. I want to connect it. I just want to make this place 1 inch. So I want to connect here to here. So the place I'm starting from for the connection, I actually measured out. Okay, this is 1.5. So I measured out 1.5. Okay, you measure out 1.5. Then you make sure you connect it. Just connect, just to the essence of this, just to get that 1 inch, so that it will be able to go through the D-ring. Okay, that's just the excess. So you can do whatever connection you want. So I wish I could explain this better. I actually wish that, but I hope you understand the idea behind this, just for it to go through this D-ring. So once you are able to get it like that, I'm just going to fold it into two. You don't have to cut differently. You can fold it and cut on one of the mark, and that is going to give you what you really want. So I just cut on this mark. Okay, so this is what you're going to get. So remember, the exercise is to get a 1 inch mark that can go through this. Okay, so from here to here I took 1.5 inches. Then I connected it, like, just to make it have that 1 inch in width mark. I don't know if you understand. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining it in a way that you can understand. So you can now see that it's going to go through this now. To now go through this. So it's going to be something like this. Okay, so once you've done it like this, you just take you place it on your stabilizer, you cut it and you wrap it. Then you're going to fold it like this. Then you sew from this all the way to this, and you're going to use another D-ring. So I'm just going to use this one to cut out the stabilizer. We are going to wrap now and do that. And take notes, guys. This is what we are doing. We are doing this angle here. All right. So again, did you cut out a piece of leather? Cut out a piece of leather 1 inch. So she has cut it out. Okay, she has cut it out. So she used this template. My student used this template to cut out this, right? My student used this to cut out this, and she has wrapped it. Don't forget, so for the people who are just joining, this is the handle we are doing. This is the handle. give me thumbs up if you feel I'm making sense. So this is the handle I'm doing. So I've explained how I got this, even if the explanation is not that clear. So I've explained it. Alright, so this is what we are doing, and I have wrapped it. I use leather actually. So if you don't know how to wrap, please go watch my previous video. I've done a lot of video that has to do with wrapping of Ankara with wrapping of Ankara, yes, with leather. Okay. So once you've wrapped it like this, one thing I want you guys to know, if you feel it's not thick enough, you just cut 1 inch leather. This 2 inch width, right? Cut 1 inch, lay it at the center. You can make it 3 layer, 4 layer, depending on what you want, as long as the width does not have the same width with this. Okay, cut out 1 inch of leather and lay it. Can I get what I'm saying? So if this is 1 inch, for instance, okay, you lay it at the center. Okay, because when you take the same width with this, it's going to be too much for the machine to sew through. So you cut out 1 inch and lay it on it. Don't cut the same width with this. So I'm just going to sew from this point. So take note, this is going to go through it like this. First, put your D-ring so you can clip. It's going to be, can you see? So you take your D-ring, that is 1 inch, you place it, and let me just clip it so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to clip it. As I said, if it's too light, you can, okay, don't worry, you can actually add more layer of leather to it, which is 1 inch. Do not take the same width with this. It will be too much for the machine to sew through. So you reduce by 1 inch and lay it at the middle like this. So you can put like 1, 2, 3 layer, and that will make it thick and kind of bulge out. And it will give it a professional look. So depending on what you want, and it's not going to taper with your sewing. No, it's not good, as long as it doesn't get to the edge. So these are just some of the tricks of sewing. Can I get a second D-ring, please? D-ring. Don't worry, I've seen one. So I'll take the second D-ring. Just place it like this. Okay? Place it like this. It's going to go like this. I see. Play like this. I'll clip it. So for making handle, you don't have to use machine. There's this other fake, like using poking hose. You can use that one to poke holes and sew your handle. And there are some handle that come, like, I don't know, there are some handle that you feel that just bulge out. I've said it before. You can put something like a rope. Laura, can I get that rope? Like, it's like rope that is flexible. You can just put it through, it will bulge out. Okay, if you want me to do that, let me know in the comment section. Okay, let me know in the comment section. So you're just going to sew from this point all down to this point. Okay, so let's sew now. So I'll first of all apply a bit of gum here first. Apply a bit of gum. Also apply gum. Okay, before you clip it in together, I just want it to just stay a bit. I'll do. Please get that rope, like is it black or something? I bought it. I said pipe. It's called piping. Sorry guys, my stage just, oh my god, it's too much. The gum I applied is too much. So that thing is called piping. Yes, it's called piping. You put it inside your handle, it bulges out. It makes it look fine and professional in look. So you put it at the middle and you can sew. It makes it look fine. If you want me to do such handle, please let me know. Sorry, don't go yet. We are almost through. You can see I'm just doing my best to, like, I'm explaining with speed, because I don't want to waste these people's data. I know in Nigeria it's not easy to get data, so I'm just fast. So make sure you stay to get everything I'm explaining. So there's something I'm revealing that you can never get on my other video. When you are on my live stream, you can ask any question. So you can see as I'm trying to sew this, it's coming out, right? It's coming out. So you can make your own legs. Instead of taking 1.5 inch, you can take 2.5. So it comes, I mean, it can be long for you to piece, like to be long enough. So it's kind of coming out. So that's not a problem. I'm still going to fix it. So guys, this is what I was trying to explain. This is a pipe. This is a pipe, okay? You can put this pipe and put it before you can kind of put it inside the bag like this. Then make sure the width you are taking is big. If you want to, if you are using this width, for instance, you buy a smaller piping. Can you see the way it's coming? It's going to like give you that kind of look that you want, okay? So when you are sewing and you can't also sew with your machine, there's a fake. I don't get that fake. I'll show you a fake. There's a fake you just use to poke hole on it and you sew on it, okay? It makes it look professional. So it's called piping. Okay, so there's fake, something like this. They're also bigger. There are also bigger sizes. Just poke holes on it. You mark as you poke holes, then you use your hand so you need to sew it. So in case you are complaining that machine is not sewing through, so you can use your fake. So all of that fake, I actually got that fake, the one I just showed to you. I got it on AliExpress. So I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and I got it for less than $1 as at 2 years ago, and it was shipped to my post office free, with free shipping. Like, it's not expensive to get these things. So once you've done that, I'm just going to sew from this place down. But what I normally do here, because normally if you have a kind of cylinder bed machine, you're able to sew this thing without any issue. But what I do, I use that fake from the beginning, from this point to this point. I just the fake, because by the time I try sewing with this machine, this one might be getting on the way. So I'll just use the fake, poke some hole to this point, then I'll use machine to sew the rest. I don't know if you understand. So that's what I do. Let me just show you the process of sewing this anyway. Show you the process of sewing this. So you can see it's not wool. I'm trying to sew it back because this thing is kind of getting on the way. So just sewing, trying to sew. So I'm sewing. You can see I'm just applying a bit of oil on it. I'm applying oil. It's very easy for me when I apply oil to sew. When I apply machine oil to sew, it's very, very easy. So that's why you have to be on my live stream. These are things that I don't say on my other videos. For you watching, thank you, man. God bless you. It's very, very encouraging for you watching. Because if I'm doing this and nobody is watching, I'll be discouraged. To be truthful with you guys, I'll be discouraged. Can I get out that handle? Can you wrap it? These handles. There are 4. There's still one there. Just wrap one of it. Cut out one of it. Okay. So as I said, if you cannot sew, you can just use your fake. So at this point, can I get what I do here? It will keep on removing, right? So if you are using a cylinder bed machine, it will go freely without you having issue. But that fake, can I see get that fake? There's a fake here I used. Okay, there's a fake here I use. So I'll just pop hole here, then I'll sew everything all together. I'll sew everything all together. So it's going to come out like this. It's going to come out like this. So if you don't have money to buy some certain tools, guys, don't worry. Just start from where you are. You don't have to get everything. There are cheaper things that you can use. People sew bag without machine. They just buy this fake, and especially this side, they just sew it together. Start with what you have, guys. Start with what you have. So before, I used to be scared of sewing this kind of handle. I feel that you just have to need something like cylinder bed to do that. So what I have to do, I have to go and what I did was to go and get this kind of fakes. I have different sizes, so I just use them to sew. And so this how the handle is going to come, right? This how the handle is going to come. Okay, And remember, this is what we are doing. This is what we are doing. So now I'm going to be explaining to you how to get this shape. Laura, be fast now. Can you finish this thing with hand sewing before? So I don't want to waste your time, guys. So I'm going to be explaining to you how to get this shape. For this shape, there are various shapes that you can get. I've actually drafted out different shapes. You can see there's this shape, okay? There's this shape that will go through this. Give me the hand itself. There's this shape that will go through it like this, okay? It will go through it like this. This is a shape, okay? It's a shape like this. So we are talking about how to get this right. So there's this one, there's this other one too. There's this other one too. There are different shapes. You can also do the one of rectangular, just rectangular. You can do the one of triangular, depending on how artistic you are, how good you are in drawing. So if you are very good, you can draw a leaf kind of shape, a lifty kind of shape. So you just draft out something that you know is going to be fine, okay? So I'm going to be sending some pictures later on different shapes that you can get. So let's just draft out a simple one. Can I get a pen and a biro? Okay, so you can, like this shape now, it's very easy to draft, okay? Let me just explain how I drafted this thing out. So to draft this particular one, you just take your, you can take about, this is about guys, this is about the width. I wanted it to be big. Can you see how big it is? It's bigger than this one. It's bigger than this one. It's bigger than this size here. It's very big. So the width of this is 2 inches, right? You take 2 inches. But one thing I want to draw to your attention is always make this one to be 1 inches, because whatever you are doing, you have to put the D-ring in mind, because it has to go through the D-ring, okay? It just has to go through the D-ring. It's going to come like this, right? So it has to go through this D-ring. So always make sure that the top part is 1 inch. So when you are drawing, you first of all measure 1 inch out. You measure 1 inch because we want it to go through the D-ring. So assuming I want to draw something similar to this, so I first of all draw something like 1 inch out, but here to here is 1 inch, right? Okay, so once I've gotten the 1 inch, I'll measure like the distance from here to here is about 1. Okay, from here to here, that is going to go through the D-ring. So the down, I will take another 1 inch. So I cannot start drawing whatever shape I want. I can draw a leafy shape, something like leaf. It can come like this. Okay, it can come like this. Can you see? It can come like this. I can decide to make it come like this, come like this, come like this. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Can you see? So as long as this one is already 1 inch that can go through the D-ring, you can draw whatever shape you want. You can, after getting the one shape, you can also draw a ball kind of shape depending on what you want. So that's how to just do this. It's very easy, but just make sure that this one is 1 inch. If you are using 1.5 inches of D-ring, for instance, you make sure that this one is 1.5, so that it will be able to go through your D-ring. So that is the excess of this, okay, to be able to go through your D-ring. If you don't want it like this, you can make it kind of lift, like a leaf. You can make it circular depending on the shape you want, okay? As you can see, this shape is kind of triangular, right? Yes, it's triangular. So depending on the shape you want. So once you've gotten that shape, you wrap with your, you cut out the stabilizer that you want to. Quickly cut this thing for me, and wrap it fast. You cut out your stabilizer. You wrapped with the same Ankara. Then you are going to place it like this. Okay, guys, you place it like this, and you are going to sew on your panel. So you sew. You can just take everything together and sew. All right. So you're going to sew. You know we've already done this one. I'm trying to see if you can give me another panel. Give me that Ankara, this thing panel first. So this is the first one we did. So if I started explaining this. Okay, I'm missing so fine. The handle is so fine. I'm sure the next bag I'm going to do this handle. Okay. So as I said, if you want this one to be thick, you use piping. If you are not here when I was explaining, you use piping. It will make this one to bulge out. Okay. So give me that one. Okay, so this one, you just take this, once you fit it like this, guys, you're going to measure out where you want to fit it. If you want it to be like 4 inches away, you measure it out, and this place should be like 2 inches away. Remember, we're going to be top stitching. I wouldn't want anything to hinder what we are doing, so you just put it down, and put it down like this, flat. Oh, don't sew your side before you sew your handle. So you're going to sew a rectangular kind of stitch on it. Okay, you're going to sew a rectangular kind of stitch on it. If you don't want to have a match, you can use your rivets to kind of just put them on. You use your rivet, you fix your rivet on it, and it's going to hold it in place. And you do the same thing here. Okay, you're going to do the same thing here. All right, so that's basically how to do these things. That's basically how to do these things. Basically how to do. Can I get another give me if you have cut out anyone. So this is it. I'm just trying to cut out one. So you see the second one, this is another pattern. All right, this is another pattern. So if this one can also come like this, this one can come like this, and you just sew everything together. It's as easy as this. All right, as easy as this, depending on the shape you want. You can get a leafing shape, something that looks like leaf, depending on the shape. So in sewing, just make sure you sew a kind of rectangular. You can start from somewhere here. As it's flat, it will be easy for you to sew. It's not going to be a difficult thing. You just sew, you mark out where you are going to sew, so that you get a straight line. If for instance you want to start here, you mark from here to here. Okay, if here to here is 2 inches, make sure every here, like you mark from here to here to between here to here, then you connect it so that your work is straight. Then you sew a kind of rectangular boss shape on it. Then you do the same here before you sew your bottom and your side, so that it can be flat. But when you are sewing and it's not flat, it's going to give you problems. Start bending, like it's going to give you some challenges. So you make sure everything is flat before you sew your handles. So that is basically how to sew handles, guys. That's basically how to sew handles. That's how I achieved this result. That's how I achieved this result. Where's the other one I just sewn? That's how I achieved this result. Give me that one. So for this, give me that one first, guys. Sorry. So you can see there are 2 different bag handles. Alright, please let me know in the comment section if you have gained something, and please try to do your own. Let me see your project. I really want to see how progressing you guys are for beginner. Okay, and as I said, don't forget, if you want these things to budge out, you use piping. That's going to be all for today. That's going to be all. I love this first time I'm doing this, though I've always wanted to do it, but I've not done a bag with this handle before. That I think my next project is going to be with this handle. All right, and I also have taught on my live stream how to sew zipper panel. If you have not watched, guys, go and watch how I actually sew the zipper panel. Also attach the stopper, the zipper stopper. That is it for today. Love you guys so much for supporting me. You guys like family to me. Love you. And before I want to go, I want to say a big shout out to Miss Deborah. Thank you, and have a blessed day. For related videos, I'm going to be leaving some related videos on top of this video. Okay, so make sure you watch them. All right, that's basically all. Have a nice day, a blessed day, and thank you. Now you watching, I've been watching me from beginning to the end. God bless you and your family. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Love you from the moon to the back. Have a beautiful day. Bye.